Hey everybody, DG here with some sort of review slash impressions video. I'm calling this a day zero review because I'm recording it and posting it the day before the official release. After 25 hours with the beta and another 12 or so more during this early access period, I feel confident in some statements and I want to relay my thoughts. Perhaps this will help those that are on the fence about getting the game. I won't be getting into the narrative or the lore side of the game as that doesn't really interest me. This is mostly going to be focused on gameplay, systems, characters, maps, etc. The order in which I talk about things in this video is based on the importance that I personally place on them. Let's get into it. Game feel. The most important part of not just shooters, but any game to me. This game feels fantastic. I'm not even a fan of Destiny or Halo, which I rightfully see this game being compared to a lot in this regard. Those series never spoke to me and I have little experience with them. I prefer faster, tighter shooters generally. Call of Duty has always been what I have called the best feeling shooter series around, though I have thoroughly enjoyed other shooters such as Rainbow Six Siege, Killzone 3, a couple Battlefield games, and a few others. I'm willing to get into different types. But Concord doesn't feel entirely unique in any particular way. I think it just handles very well. Each character feels unique to move around as, but there's a consistent weight, punch, and polish to everyone's arsenal. You can feel the guns fire. The recoil is tuned just right. The abilities are just useful enough that you want to use them as much as possible, but you also can't entirely rely on them. Your movement skills are equally as important. The lack of an ultimate move is fantastic as it leaves everyone on a consistent playing field all the time. This, combined with the fact that Firewalk ensured that every character can hold their own in a fight, makes gunfights feel fair in just about every 1v1 scenario you find yourself in. This doesn't happen often, of course, as it's best to stick together in Concord, and boy, people sure do. I love having a dodge button. It adds much needed variety in gunfights. It's not simply who can aim better that wins, it's who can track their opponent while they're zigging and zagging and using the map to their advantage. There are always so many things to consider once you open fire. My favorite part of Concord is engaging in a fight and then having the time to choose whether or not you're going to come out on top. From there, you can commit to the fight or abort mission and attempt to escape. Often I'm able to escape due to the way the maps are laid out, my knowledge of them, and my confidence using my character's movement abilities. Playing shooters where you have no chance of surviving a firefight has gotten pretty stale to me. Everything is over so quickly. Kills don't feel earned and deaths feel unfair or sudden. In Concord, everything feels earned. Sometimes you have to pursue someone for 5 seconds to eliminate them, all the while hoping you aren't being led back into a trap. The crew system that encourages you to use multiple characters every match by giving you perks for doing so is awesome. I love how people are forced to not main a single character. It makes the matches evolve over time and ensures that it doesn't get stale by playing the same characters the whole time. I know some people will view this as a negative since they want to main a character. I would have told you the same thing before playing this, but now that I've experienced it, I love it. The maps are some of the best looking maps I've ever seen in a shooter. I love how colorful they are. I love the verticality and the way they're layered. It allows the more mobile characters to get into advantageous positions more quickly and again allows for great escape paths. It also encourages flanking, which is always my go-to strategy in a shooter. Wrap around back and start distracting them from behind. Works like a charm here. Love it. I will say the few maps that were in the beta are among my least favorite in the game, actually. Having experienced the rest of them now, I'm much more appreciative of them overall. The ones in the beta were just a little bit too open, I guess. It allowed for the characters that really go straight up into the air and float around a little bit too much of an advantage, and as someone who doesn't use them, it kind of made me frustrated, I guess. I like the ones where there's more hallways and more ways to like get out of harm's way, which is what most of the other maps are like. I love the aesthetic of the game. Bright colors everywhere, a vibrant UI and menu, it's all great. I changed my team's color to cyan and the enemies to orange. Love that I can do that. It makes everything really pop in the exact colors that I like most. The characters' portraits, the detail in the kill feed, the transitions between screens, everything looks how I want a video game to look. It's a great blend of cartoonish with realism. It has its own flavor and I love it. It reminds me of Borderlands in some ways with how wild it's willing to be while not going too far off the deep end. The characters' designs themselves, well, that's a slightly different story. More on that later. I like the modes in Concord. I want to play Rivalry more, but I'm hesitant to do so without at least a couple party members. This game is pretty reliant on teamwork and coordination to succeed, especially when there is an objective. It can be frustrating playing the objective modes solo, even more so in this game than a game with similar modes such as Call of Duty. This game borrows modes pretty directly from Call of Duty, which is probably why I like them. I can't wait to really dig into Cargo Run. I'm a huge Search and Destroy and Rainbow Six Siege fan, so that is my jam. There's actually a single player mode in here called Time Trials, and as of right now there's 5 different characters that have time trials. I've only really messed with the Star Child one, which I did get the world record for at a moment, and now I'm probably like 5th or something. I don't know. I haven't checked very recently, but it's really fun to just use the character's abilities and try to maximize your skill with them, and just see the different kinds of ways that you can use their movement to navigate a map. Overall, I mean, it's going to help you in playing the actual game to some degree. I just think it's a cool way to allow you to experiment with the characters in a solo capacity. The movement in this game is really fluid and feels great, so I'm glad there's a way that the developers are focusing on just that, and it's not really about fighting other people. Although you do still have to shoot things in this, it's a cool way for you to learn the character's kit overall. Honestly, it reminds me of Break the Targets from Smash Bros, which was never my favorite part of those games, but it was a cool like side thing. That's what this is to me. Gameplay, UI, sound design, and polish-wise, Concord is one of the best shooters ever. But now that I've gotten the things I care about most out of the way, let's address the characters. This is by far the most divisive part of Concord by my estimation, and I honestly feel that it's rightfully so in some ways. For that reason, I want to speak on it extensively. Let me be clear, anyone attacking this game and calling it woke is a weenie. By no means am I validating that nonsense. Pay them no mind, they just want attention, they're annoying, whatever. However, I do fall in line with the very base point being made by people kind of in that crowd, at least the more reasonable ones. I do feel as though these characters do not come off as cool. None of the casts really draw me in. It does feel as though it leans a little too hard on the diverse cast shtick. Again, by no means am I saying diversity is bad. It's actually good. I like that aspect. Even if you look at it functionally, it's important to be able to tell who you're up against at a glance based on their shape and size. Having distinguishable silhouettes is very important. I like that the cast is diverse. I just wish it had more traditionally cool video gamey characters. Everyone is simply too round, smooth, and goofy in design for my tastes. It's kind of hard to describe my thoughts on this with just words, so this might come off as a little weird. Characters like Lark, Itzy, DeVeers, One-Off, Kips, and Amari just really don't do it for me. Most of the other characters are just okay. I think Hamar, Vale, and possibly Roka stand out as the most appealing looking. Interestingly enough, I don't use any of these characters. You'll notice I put this at the end, meaning the characters' looks just don't matter that much to me overall. I use Baz, Doss, Starchild, and Lennox primarily for right now. I think they're all pretty flawed in terms of visual design, unfortunately. For some characters, I have an issue with their color palettes. Starchild's face being bright red really clashes with the rest of him for some reason. This is fixed with some of the skins. I got a red outfit and a red gun, and now he kind of looks pretty cool. Baz having a bright red coat doesn't look great. It like clashes. She's got like purple hair, and the glasses are kind of wonky looking. But I just unlocked this light blue coat, and she looks so much better. It really does feel like some characters have random colors applied to them, and I think this is one factor that is putting off some people. Lennox having a puffy vest is just so goofy looking. I feel like he would look cool if it was a little bit edgier, and I mean that literally. This probably sounds silly, but hey, I like edgy looking things. Where's the characters with like knight armor or totally reptilian skin? Someone that comes off as a bit angry, perhaps a bearded character. Now I'm just describing Kratos, but like Kratos would like fit into this game aesthetically in a way, and he would by far be the coolest looking character. Does that sound stupid? Maybe, but that's kind of what I mean. Like nobody is like, dude, oh my god, that is a cool looking character. Overall, the characters kind of have super rounded and smooth clothing and body parts. There's not really any roughness, if that makes sense. Everyone feels a bit too clean and polished looking. Perhaps I'm nitpicking, but I think this is the biggest put off for a lot of people. At least the ones that are being fair in their criticism. It's hard to look at Concord's cast and go, damn, those are some cool characters. I can't decide who I want to try out. Some people will do that, but I truly think they're in the minority. I imagine many people watching this do think that, and I'm not trying to invalidate your opinion at all. I'm actually quite glad you feel that way. Unfortunately, this is the first thing people will notice about the game, and I think we've seen that the general consensus is that people don't like the characters' looks overall. Once you remove the toxicity from the conversation, there's truth here, in my opinion. Skins can make a difference here, and the addition of more edgy and cool characters would be great to see to even things out a bit. This truly isn't a big deal to me personally. Clearly, I love the game and I'll continue playing it. I'm making a big deal of it here because it seems like it's the biggest deal breaker for other people. I want Concord to succeed because it's a fantastic shooter. I'm just giving my honest feedback. My thoughts on this game will certainly change over time. I just wanted to let you all know how I was feeling on the eve of the game fully launching. What are your thoughts on Concord? Has this swayed you in any way? Are you a fan already? Let me know. Thanks for watching. I will be streaming this game frequently here on YouTube and Twitch, so come hang out sometime.